let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal. Go.
Fix.
It's beautiful. Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
For those of you counting down at home, we are 145 days away from kickoff for the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Iowa State Cyclones. On September 7th, Iowa will open up against Albany, and Iowa State will open up against South Dakota. But, you know, who's looking to the future? Who's looking to the future? Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Android audio app, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like, leave your comments. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. 145 days, Ross Peterson. 145 days till college football.
I like that you did the math, or did you see that somewhere?
No, because of generative AI, all you have to do now is go into Google and go, how many days until kickoff? And it says generative AI says, you know, from today's date, we are 145 days away from kickoff.
Have you seen the movie Wall-E? Really cute Disney movie.
You mean that little robot type thing?
Yeah, it's cleaning up got left behind here on planet Earth to clean up all of our mess.
Yeah, I've seen Wall-E.
Duper, super, like, I mean, it's a global warming propaganda film, but it's a cute movie.
Yeah, that's something where you're like, oh, okay, but it's a good movie. There's a good message children,
but it's a cute movie.
Wasn't he like put together with like recycled parts and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Wall-E was a cute, and he had like become sentient some way and found a flower, whatever. But the point of this is, the humans in that movie had become so reliant on technology that they'd become stupid and lazy.
Are you calling me stupid and lazy?
Didn't say you.
I thought you were kind of hinting right there that I might be stupid and lazy.
People that are using AI for all of their simple tasks. Hand up accountability here. Aren't we... You know, like, I look back at this, I don't know where my brain's going here. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I think about my grandparents, right? The ones that went through the Great Depression.
Yes.
And, like, when I would be in my grandparents' home, they had this machine on the wall. It was a can crusher. It was a little mechanism. I don't call it a machine. It was a mechanism.
So you put the can in and you pull it down and it crushes the can?
Crush the cans down to crush the aluminum or the tin or the metal, whatever you had in there. And by the way, those were 3 different things that you put in 3 different bins, and then all of that was recycled. And then all of your cardboard got broken down, and it was taken, and everything got canned, and everything was kept. I mean, when you bought a garment and it started to fall apart, damn it, you took the good threads out of it. My grandma and grandpa had all of these amazing skills that are lost. They're gone.
I mean, I remember
two generations.
My mom would take, like, when we were throwing shirts out, would take the buttons off. We would keep the buttons.
Yes. Yeah, I bet most of us grew up in a house that had a coffee tin full of buttons.
Yes.
That was one of the things that made it one generation down. My mom held on to that thing. My mom made clothes. My mom made clothes. She went to Joann's Fabrics and brought them home to the sewing machine and made clothes.
I would say for Abigail's first 3 years of life, this was child number 1 of 4 for us. Anjanette made a good number of her clothes.
There you go. See, so there's something that made it 2 generations down.
We did that because we were dirt poor. Poor.
That's exactly why. And then all of a sudden you get a little bit of money. Start living up in them, moving on up.
See, and now I've got 2 computers. I've got 3 computer screens.
Look
in
at
front
this
of me.
guy. Look at this guy. Went from making clothes to 3 computers.
3 computer screens in front of me.
Man.
I just go to Google and I say, how many days until the Iowa State Cyclones and the Iowa Hawkeyes kick off the college football season?
And
it
it's all done
automatically
for you.
just picks up
Right.
145 days.
Right. Back in the olden days, you had to go and buy yourself a calendar and start counting.
That's right. And that would have been way too much work for me. I have the ADHD. I would have never been able to count. And then I'd get to
Truth is,
89.
They were
and I'd
so
be like,
smart, they just knew. They were so smart back then. If somebody asked, if an old farmer just knew.
Okay, today's February 8th. They kick off on the 7th. How many days is that until kickoff?
197 days.
No, that's 145. That's 145, Bob. That's 145. The national championship game last night, Florida beats Houston in what was big boy basketball. It was big boy basketball.
Good way to put it, dude. Good way to put it.
It was big boy basketball with some of the best dunks I've seen in a college basketball game in a long time. Not that I watch it just for dunks, but it was a good game where I think Florida led a total of 55 seconds in the entire game. They led 8-6, and then they didn't lead again until late, I think under a minute to go. But Ross, maybe you and I disagree on this because you watched the entire game. I watched 3/4 of the game. I missed the middle part of the second half because I kind of dozed off, but I woke up for the last 7 or 8 minutes of the game. The ending sucked. The ending absolutely sucked to me. It was just like you turned the ball over in that fashion.
The very last possession you're saying.
The very
not getting
last
the shot off. I mean,
yes.
Yeah. I can see what you're saying there. But it is that the joy of victory, agony of defeat. I mean, it's on full display last night. Watching the ticker tape fall, and in the background of the ticker tape or underneath that ticker tape, you see the Houston kids trying to soak in. Man, I don't know. There's something weird happens to me in those moments. Like last night, I'm watching those Houston kids, and I'm thinking to myself, they're going to remember this the rest of their life. That kid, they're watching that ticker tape fly, and they're in that surrender cobra position, and you see that look in their eye that is soaking in every single emotion and moment.
The reality of the situation.
Reality of it. We worked our ass off all year long. All year long, we worked our ass off. All year long, we were at practice thinking we could win the national championship. We're that good. We got through the first 3 rounds of this thing thinking we could win this thing. We made it here, and we came this goal. We led the game for 38 minutes and 10 or 39 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yes, roughly.
Holy cow! Which I mean, it did seem that game did feel like Houston was going to win that game handily for a while. I thought what you were going to say, Trav, was something to that effect. How it did kind of, and they mentioned this towards the end of the game, how it kind of had that feel of that Duke-Houston game. Like, did Houston collapse last night, or did Florida win? Well, both. Both. Houston had some really, really, really bad possessions. Really bad possessions.
Throughout the game. I mean, how many times?
Yeah, I mean, specifically in those last 3-4 minutes. Yeah.
Are you ready?
That last one, man, I see what you're saying. When you first said it like it was disappointing, I was like, no, the end of that game was great.
No, it was the shot to where the unself-awareness that he could have picked the ball back up.
No, he couldn't.
He couldn't pick it up there?
No, it would have been traveling.
See, I thought it was blocked.
No, he let go of it. He jumped. He thought the shot was going to be blocked, which, hindsight again, that kid is going to wake up for the next 40 years thinking to himself, I should have just shot it. Just shoot it. If he blocks it, so what? At least we get a shot at getting it again. There just wasn't enough time for anybody else to get back to the ball and make anything of it. So, a great basketball game, dude. I love the way you put it. Big boy basketball last night. That was fun. My other thought watching that game, though, Travis, is like, what happens? I wish somebody, maybe we should reach out to Matt Woodley. Matt's the best basketball brain I've ever talked to. why do we watch that game last night? And it's like, what was the final score? 65-63.
65-63.
The very next level of that's a halftime score at the NBA.
In many cases, you're right.
That's a halftime score if you go down and watch the Wolves. So at the next level of basketball, it looks totally different. Why?
Because the NBA doesn't play a lot of defense.
I don't think it's that, man. I think there's a soup here. The guys
but the
are
style
really good.
the style of play is different.
It is. Like, I mean, we watched that game last night. It's that rock fight thing we were talking about. I love how you said it, that they are, if you're not out there with sharp elbows, you're getting run over in that game last night.
And it was physical. It was a physical basketball game. It was fun to watch, despite the low scoring. I enjoyed watching almost every single minute of it. I never once watched the game thinking, boy, the two best teams in the country aren't playing right now, because I really thought the two best teams in the country were playing. Here's one for you. You know, Florida's known for its offense, and they kept talking about how, you know, they wanted to pick up the pace. Florida's got a really good defense, and they put that on display last night. I got this from ESPN.com, and I thought this stat was amazing, but it also shows you why Houston lost. In the first 36 minutes and 35 seconds of the game, 36 minutes, 35 seconds of the game, Houston had 4 turnovers. In the last 3 minutes and 24 seconds, it had 5 turnovers, including 3 in the final minute.
Wow. See, yeah, bad possessions.
Bad possessions.
And honestly, Houston, you could say all the same things about Houston. Very good defensive team. They forced a couple of bad possessions from Florida late in the game. Both teams were combined 0 for 14 from 3 to start the game. I didn't see that as a stat
It was bad. I didn't see that number, but I was going to bring that up when you said that Houston had a number of bad possessions, and I was going to go to the start of the game where they couldn't hit the broadside of the barn from behind the 3-point line. It was like they were getting good looks, but it was almost like, and you would have thought they would have adapted, but sometimes you get in a dome-like arena, and the perception, the depth, can throw you off, and it was almost like, oh man, you thought they would have adapted to the depth in the Final Four game, but they were missing badly last night from behind the arc, and throw nerves into it, throw a bunch of things into it.
What the arena was the same,
100%.
The game wasn't, and your opponent's not. Your opponent's more ready for you. They're playing. You know, everybody's adrenaline is rushing a little bit different.
Did you find yourself rooting for one team? Because we're not emotionally attached to any of them.
Dude, you know, being an Iowa guy, for some reason, I'm anti. I usually have been anti-Florida. I don't know what it is. I didn't like
Spurrier.
And I don't just mean University of. I never liked Miami. I never liked Florida State. I mean, when Florida Gulf Coast came in, I was like, okay, I guess maybe. But I've never liked anything from Florida. And I went into last night kind of rooting for Houston. I had told you that. But no, I didn't. As the game went on, I found myself kind of pulling for Florida to stay in it, pulling for Florida to make it a game. And at the end of the game, I didn't find myself super disappointed. I enjoyed last night was a fun basketball game, and again, I liked that human element of watching Houston. Again, don't like watching people suffer. I want to be careful. It's not like, oh, that was fun. It's the back and forth.
I think I found myself in. I know a lot of people. He's polarizing. A lot of people don't like him. A lot of people think he cheats. I did find myself rooting for Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah, I'd said that throughout the tournament too. Yeah. I'm not sure why. What's the line? You know him, you love him. You're not sure why you know him or why you love him, but it's Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah. Maybe it was that senior statesman look. You look at a guy that's been around for so long, you're like, God, I hope this is his time. Instead, you have Todd Golden win the national championship at age 39. At age 39. And
what have you done with your life? Did you think of that last night?
I did. I absolutely did. I started going, okay, he's 39, I'm 54, going to be 55. You know, when I graduated high school, where was he? How did he get to this point when he's 39 years old? He becomes the youngest head coach. Are you ready for this, Ross?
Okay.
He becomes the youngest head coach since Jim Valvano to win a national title. Jim Valvano was 37 when North Carolina State beat Houston. So Houston has been the victim of young head coaches. So Golden is 39. Valvano, when he's running off the court at the pit in Albuquerque, is 37 years old. Yes. Now, who is the youngest? Don't look this up. I'm
looking at Jim Valvano because that's a mind meld for me.
That was a mind meld for me.
Thinking about it, he's a young man running around on that court.
But I would have thought he was like in his 40s.
Mid-40s, yeah.
Yes.
Wow, that's really cool.
Okay, I got one for you. Who is the youngest head coach ever to coach a national championship team?
In basketball.
In college basketball. Because this one actually surprised
it's a
me.
Name I will know.
This one surprised me based on the way he looked at the time.
Is it Bob Knight?
It is.
Is it?
In 1976, that team that went undefeated, he was 35 years old.
Wow.
35 years old.
Wow.
And you look at him, I think he was graying then. It was.
Bob Knight's kind of like Steve Martin. You know what I mean? Like you can't picture him with colored hair.
He's always been old. It's
always had gray hair. Wilford Brimley effect or whatever. That's a different thing.
Yeah, well, when Wilford Brimley did Cocoon, he was 50 years old.
There's the thing called, the Wilford Brimley line, right?
No.
There's a thing called the Wilford Brimley line, and it is when people get older than Wilford Brimley was when he filmed Cocoon. I'll look it up here for you.
Well, I've reached that stage of my life. I am older than Wilford Brimley to when he filmed Cocoon. Good movie, by the way. Steve Guttenberg was in Cocoon.
So when Cocoon reached theaters on June 21st, 1985, my birthday, Wilford Brimley was 18,530 days old. That's 50 years, 9 months, and 6 days. So you cross the Brimley Cocoon line when you reach 50 years, 9 months, and 7 days. Now, you go look at what Wilford Brimley looked like in Cocoon. I mean, remember, he played a dying grandpa.
Yeah, he played like an 80-year-old.
Yeah. Going to heaven next week, kid, while they're fishing in the pond. Maybe not. Some aliens came. They want me to go on their ship. Hey, I didn't mean to spoil it. Spoiler.
I
in
think
Cocoon, a movie that's 40 years old, it's an alien ship that's coming to save him.
What year did Cocoon come out?
Steve Guttenberg. Steve Guttenberg had a run. That guy went from Police Academy to the Cocoon. He had the Police Academy franchise. That wasn't a one-off.
And actually Steve Guttenberg was back in the news a couple months ago because when they had the wildfires in California, he was out helping people.
Oh, I did hear this story.
And
he was like on the news.
Yeah, and they interviewed him, and you have a young reporter who's just not self-aware and not up to date, and she's like, "Can I have your name, sir? My name is Steve Guttenberg," and it just went right over her head. You're like,
she had no idea.
No idea.
Yeah,
it's like that's
kid.
Steve Guttenberg.
Yeah.
So, man. Yeah, but an exciting finish last night, and Florida wins its third national title. It won back-to-back titles in the early 2000s under Billy Donovan, and now wins a national title in 2025 under Todd Golden.
One of those early 2000 years, didn't they have that year where they won both? They won the national football and basketball in the same year?
Boy, I'm trying to think.
I was thinking that. I don't know. That went through my brain last night. As the ticker tape was flying last night, for some reason in my head, I was like, I feel like the last time this happened, they'd won both. But
why don't you – okay, that probably makes sense because I was actually going back to Steve Spurrier, but I forgot that Urban Meyer won a national title at Florida. Was it 06 or 07? Because that's a hell of a run by the university.
Joe says he thought it was 07. Let me go look. I'm a looking.
That's what the Google machine is for.
06, Florida won the BCS. 08, Florida won the BCS.
So it'd be 06 that they won
both? Okay.
Won both. It's still hard for me to look at Florida as a basketball school. When you put 3 national titles up, I mean, you're a basketball school, right? I mean, and your 3 national titles are this century. So within the last 20 years, you've won 3 national titles. That's pretty darn impressive.
You're a blue blood.
I guess it's only fitting that a team from the SEC wins the national title, considering the SEC had 14 teams in the NCAA tournament, was considered the best league in college basketball.
I'll give it to that. Like the SEC and the Big 12 were the 2 best conferences in my mind throughout the year.
Yeah.
Sure.
Florida is not even in the top 10 for next year's early odds. Duke, your odds-on favorite right now to win the national title at plus 1,000. That comes out almost immediately. But a lot of people want to place these future bets because there's money to be made.
And people that gamble a lot. I mean, everybody, pretty low bar to gamble more than me. But I get it. People that like to gamble, they want to do this. You have no idea who's going to be on these rosters. You don't even know who the coaches are. You don't even know who the coaches are going to be. Like, I get it if you want to do this, and that's what people get their thrills from. And if you do, be responsible and have fun. And best of luck to you. I hope it works out. I don't know how you could possibly make an educated. It's not educated. You can lie to yourself and tell yourself you're making an educated guess. They're putting the odds out there to get your money. It's the only reason they're putting out. I mean, nobody knows who's going to be on what teams.
Yeah, and they're going to hold on to that money and draw interest off that money for the next year. But there's somebody lining up at the. They were on their app.
Oh, they were on their app the minute they saw those odds. There's a meme out there right now, and it's like the one guy's like, "Man, I'm so excited about gambling tonight. I can't wait. I'm literally shaking." And his friend says, "That's called addiction, bro." He's like, "That's not addiction. That's dedication. You just don't gamble like I do."
Did you think the officiating was bad in the second half? Casey Hall wants us to get Higgins back on.
Yeah, I've seen a few people comment about that. Travis, I don't watch games with that lens. There were some bad calls, right?
The goaltending call was bad.
There were some
non-goaltending.
There were some bad calls. Did it impact the game? I had a buddy that thought when the technical foul got called with like 5:30 to play, he's like, "That's it. That cost Florida the game." I think people are quick to do that. There definitely were some bad calls last night. What did Casey said? Can you get Higgins back on to discuss the officiating in the game in the second half? That conversation that we had with Higgins is one that people should be playing for their friends because it's that quiet part out loud. That saying has become real popular again lately. But he says that thing that hard truth that most of us know but don't want to hear. The game gets officiated differently based on who has the ball and when it's happening in the game. It's just human nature. And by the way, they not just human nature, they kind of go into the game with a little bit of that plan so that they don't ruin your viewing experience. Because the one thing you don't want is the officials to they're trying not to impact the game in the way that we see them impacting the game with some of these calls.
Ron Groover was the lead official last night. I've actually interviewed Ron Groover for Make the Right Calls podcast, which is an officiating podcast. I think I interviewed almost 6 of the Final Four officials. I mean, these guys are the best of the best. They are the best of the best.
And still make mistakes.
And still make mistakes. You ask any one of these officials, they'll tell you they're not going to get 100% of the calls right during a game. They shoot for that 92 to 95% because it's impossible to get everything right. Just think about what you do in a day and how many times do you get through a day and boy, I hit 100% today. I hit 100%. Doesn't happen. And I know we expect it for the national championship game, but you're not going to have perfect calls. At the end of the day, I don't think officiating affected that game last night. I really don't. And what's something that fans always complain about? It's officiating.
It's the easiest thing to complain about, and
it's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Again, there were mistakes last night. I guess I don't know. I didn't think it impacted the game in that way, but man, we have a lot of folks that were weighing in on the chat earlier saying that as well, Casey. So you're not alone in asking those questions about the officials.
We got a busy day today.
I am really running through here trying to figure out because, man, he's had some real duds. But I'll tell you, Gutenberg has stayed busy. He has stayed busy.
Has he?
Oh, man, he's been in a lot of stuff. The most important thing he's been in for the culture. The Little Mermaid, a couple years ago, he's done a lot of voiceover work.
Tell you what, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Brad Heinrichs is going to be joining us as the House settlement went to a hearing yesterday. So we're going to catch up with Brad Heinrichs, hear kind of what the judge said yesterday, how that affects the NILs. And more litigation that could come. It's an uncharted waters as we're getting ready to go, and we're going to get an update from Brad when we come back on the Rush Radio Show presented by Willis Automotive.
Hi, I'm Josh Romick, manager at Willis Lexus. I want to take a moment to share with you the great deals that we've got going on starting now through the end of April. We are offering $100 off a full brake service or $50 off a two-wheel brake service. In addition to that, for limited time only, receive up to an $80 prepaid Visa or MasterCard. You can give us a call to schedule or visit us online at willislexus.com.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's $25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Do you have a pest problem? With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
Believe it or not, spring is coming. When it does, be absolutely organized with custom garage or closet systems from Absolute Garage and Closets. Turn a winter mess into a spring success at our showroom in Urbandale or visit absolutegarage.net.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Spring cleaning continues. Come down to Land Rover Des Moines to get your front and rear differential fluid services done for $199.95 each. Preventative maintenance is important to ensure your vehicle runs smoothly down the road. To schedule, give us a call or head online at LandRoverDesMoines.com.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Listen to the Rush Radio Show all day long, powered by Willis Automotive at therushradio.com. Just click that Listen Live link. If you're looking for the podcast version, you can download it wherever you listen to your podcasts. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. The House settlement hearing was yesterday, Ross, and a lot of stuff came out of that as we're going to get to. And I thought, who better to bring on to talk about that than our NIL expert? That would be Brad Heinrichs from the Swarm Collective, who's, I think, getting ready to golf today. Are you golfing today?
No, I'm actually helping to host a huge collegiate golf tournament at my golf club in Naples. And the Iowa Hawkeyes are prominently involved in this, as you might imagine.
So I wouldn't imagine they get preferential treatment in any way.
We are staying in the cabin right adjacent to the third green out here at Calusa Pines, and unfortunately, the other teams in the event are staying at the Hampton Inn.
Let me guess, it's your cabin. It's your cabin.
It's not my cabin, but I'm a member here, and I have access to said cabin. And for a few shekels, me and the boys bunked up here in a 12th. We call it the dorm. It's kind of hilarious. It's an amazing place, but it's the cabin at Calusa Pines, which is a nice place.
What is the name of the course? Because I want to look it up. I'm interested.
You go ahead and look it up. It's Calusa Pines Golf Club. It's a top 3 course in the state of Florida.
Calusa Pines.
So when Ross and I come to Florida, we get a golf that with you. We're going to be a guest.
Maybe.
He hesitates.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
So the House settlement hearing was yesterday. They did not do a ruling. The judge said, for the most part, she likes it. Did you follow this yesterday? And I'm still kind of confused on how the House settlement is going to affect NIL collectives. And because she went back and she said, hey, you need to look at a couple things. One would be the roster limits that they've put in place, and that maybe you have a grandfather clause to where you don't eliminate all these roster spots right away, which made sense to me. I mean, if you were able to throw on a 6th COVID year just for the hell of it, why not just say, hey, finish out your college career, don't change the roster limits? And the other thing she said was, be careful on future litigation after this where other people will come back and say, hey, you're enrolled in school and you're not getting enough money. Now, this, I don't know if that concerns the NIL or if it concerns what the universities are paying out.
Yeah, so a lot to unpack there. I did follow it a little bit yesterday, even though I was out on the golf course cheering on the Hawks. But I didn't watch any of it, but I got the cliff notes from a lot of people who did. And you're right. Regarding roster limits, phasing it in makes a certain level of sense. However, this is all happening. We're in April. This is supposed to be effective July 1, right? Well, I'm close to Iowa football, as you guys know, and Tyler Barnes and the staff, they've been working with the kids that we thought that the roster limits would go down, to the actual number, your 105 or whatever, and they've been telling the guys that they didn't think would make it to the 105 to leave and go play somewhere else, and they've been trying to help them get on other rosters and all of that, right? So you've got guys that if we're able to have 115 or 120, well, we would keep these guys, but we've been trying to do them a solid by finding them other homes, and then they end up backfiring just because we're trying to help the kids. And so, that was a little bit of a shocker yesterday. That she thinks she's doing everybody a favor, but of course, the schools that are trying to prepare for this, we're in April. I mean, July is right around the corner, and these kids got to find a place to go to school. And so anyway, so that was interesting. The other thing she said, that I found interesting was that she still has a little bit of a problem with the concept that Deloitte Consulting is going to decide what someone's market value is, and that if they're going to get money from a collective, the maximum it can be is $600. She mentioned that may spurn some additional litigation, and I'm just kind of laughing at that. That's an absolute no-brainer. I mean, you can't tell a kid what his market value is. The market of the kid what his market value.
See, I thought, and Brad, tell me if I'm wrong, I interpreted that as any deal over $600 had to be disclosed publicly so there's transparency. That's the way I interpret it. Is it only $600?
It's more than that. It's more than that. It has to be approved by this clearinghouse group. So I'm a student athlete. You guys pay me to advertise on your show, and you want to pay me $20,000 to do it. Well, the clearinghouse would have to then say, is Brad Heinrich's market value $20,000?
What the
I don't know. And so they have to get it cleared through this clearinghouse to determine whether or not I can be paid the $20,000 from the Rush morning show. And can you imagine? I mean, the first time the clearinghouse says, no, that's too high. Brad isn't worth it. There's going to be litigation, and it's going to get really ugly. I just, you can't, in my view, and I've been privy to some litigation through the years. You can't tell someone, you can't tell someone what their market value is. A judge is going to laugh at that and say, who do you guys think you are telling these two what the market value is for an individual's time?
But this is what the NCAA has done for decades.
You're right. And the other thing too is you think about this, and we're talking about these schools having up to $20.5 million to spend on student athletes, right? That's kind of the number that's being proposed in this settlement. The old number is zero, right? The old number was zero. You can give them nothing. And so the salary cap was zero before, and now we're moving it to 20.5. And the judge is kind of like, well, that's a huge number. It's a big number. Why are we having a cap again? I mean, isn't that part of the problem here? Is that we had a cap before, which was zero, and now we're increasing the cap to 20.5? Like, is this all better? I mean, have we improved ourselves in this whole thing? The only way that this ends up getting resolved, and I think we talked about this the last time, in my view, is if the NCAA and the powers that be say, you know what, we've got a pretty good model here in the NFL. They've kind of figured this stuff out. We need collective bargaining. We're going to need, if you want to have any sort of cap at all on compensation, it needs to be collectively bargained where both sides are coming to this conclusion and signing a contract for that. And that there are individual contracts. That makes a little bit of sense. But to just unilaterally blanket, hey, you're going to play college football, then you're subject to this against their will to some extent, that's likely not to fly. It's probably not going to fly, guys. I mean,
Does the NCAA or a new separate organization, whether that's run by the Power Four or even the SEC and the Big Ten, does there need to be antitrust exemption here, much like Major League Baseball, the National Football League, the NBA? I know that word is, antitrust is a kind of a weird thing to throw out, but does there need to be antitrust exemption here?
That's. I guess I'm probably not in that camp, but you're going to find people who feel that way. So that it's a fair question, and I don't know that I have the answer.
Let me back up, because I got a question within his question there. He kind of brushed right past. He just said NCAA or new organization created by this Power Five. What do you think happens there? I mean,
I'll tell you, I've thought this for a while, and talking to some people at the Big Ten level who feel that depending on what happens here, the Big Ten may move away from the NCAA. I mean, these guys may say, hey, we don't need you.
Now, Brad, do you think that's just football, or do you see it being an entire athletic department departure?
Great question. I would say football would be the start.
Okay.
But without football, what does the NCAA have? They have the NCAA basketball tournament, which ended last night. But I mean, really, you cripple the NCAA at that point, and it would stand to follow that the rest of the group follows along. I honestly think that the Big Ten and SEC, for example, are standing by to see what happens here, and they will act accordingly depending upon what happens and whether they like where this is going.
You mentioned that Deloitte has to determine what fair market value is. Ross and I have always said fair market value is what somebody's willing to pay. Obviously, obviously, when you put contracts together or whatever your deals look like with the student athletes, you have some representation. Have you had to lawyer up even more because of what could possibly come down the pike? I mean, let's use Brett Bloom at the We Will Collective. I mean, I think you're all doing the same thing. Do you guys have to lawyer up to protect yourself here, or at least be ready to go to court over certain things?
Yeah, it's interesting because, some of these agents are basically saying, because I think we've talked about this before, a kid's going to get paid by the collective until June 30th, for example, and then it's supposed to be revenue sharing after that. And you decide upon a number. Let's say I'm going to pay Ross $100,000, and $50,000 is going to come from the collective, $50,000 is going to come from revenue sharing. Well, what happens if the revenue sharing deal doesn't get approved and the judge says, forget about this, right? Well, the agent's wants to get paid, right?
Yeah.
Agent's going to say, hey, I want my 100. I want to get paid. And by the way, these agents just fleece these kids. I mean, it's like, 10 to 20%. NFL agents get 3, by the way, in case people are wondering. NFL agents are getting 3. These agents are getting 10 to 20.
Crazy.
It's highway robbery. But anyway, so what they want to do is put language in the contract that says, hey, Swarm, if this revenue sharing thing doesn't go through, you're going to be on the hook for the other 50. Right?
Wow.
And so, right. So I've got agents that are trying to put the Swarm on the hook for all $20 million. Right. And so that's an interesting banter back and forth, as you can imagine.
Do you ever say go F yourself?
I got a big raise for this, so it's okay.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Do you ever say go F yourself? Seriously, do you say go F yourself?
That is an actuarial phrase, actually, and I've used that in my real world. Yeah. Yes. There gets to be some interesting color involved with some of these agents. Which, by the way, I haven't met many of them that cast a shadow. I mean, these guys are just as slimy as they can be.
Brad, listen, and in a way smaller world in Des Moines, Iowa real estate, I see agents that are bad actors.
Oh, yeah.
And you see people that aren't looking out for their clients and are just looking out for their bottom line. This is how they get paid, and they're going to milk the freaking turnip, man.
No doubt. No doubt.
Man,
So I think we're going to learn some more in the next week or two, maybe. Hopefully, you can't run this out much longer. I mean, right?
That timeline. You said this got to happen quickly, but the judge is going to do this on her own timeline. Any idea? Was there any indication yesterday? Did any of the people that are really in the know give any idea of how long this might take?
I mean, I'm hearing 1 to 3 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I don't know. That's all. It's a hearsay, right?
She gave both entities, the plaintiffs and the defendants, 1 week to come back with the answers to her questions, which were the cap situation and the roster situation. So she said, for the most part, she likes the deal, but wanted those things addressed. But those are pretty big things. And what Ross and I always talk about this. And being an actuary scientist, you'll appreciate this, those unintended consequences. I think actuaries try to find out what those unintended consequences are, and that is, like you said, Tyler Barnes is telling guys, hey, we don't have a roster spot for you. And now all of a sudden you're going to come back and say, oh, well, we will. The unintended consequence is we've already told these guys to go somewhere else. We're helping them.
Right. By being good people, we may get burned a little bit on this, on the football side. So, but who knows where this is going to go? Again, until we hear something official, you really just have to sit back and, speculate all you want, I guess.
Has the NIL giving for basketball picked up since the hiring of Ben McCullum?
For sure. Yes. We've gotten a couple hundred new members and over $300,000 in new money coming in for men's basketball.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
One more question, and that is Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling is a good sponsor of the Rush Radio Show. I see you guys just partnered with Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling, where if somebody buys a 28-ounce Powerade, money goes to the Swarm. So we're going to be drinking.
What a country! What a country! And Deloitte didn't have to approve the deal.
Jeez.
So. We're free and clear. The contract's beautiful, and yes, go out and get your 20-ounce Powerade and support the Hawks.
Do you got a problem with Deloitte, or just the whole thing? Because
it's not Deloitte. It's not Deloitte. It's just, to me, this is clown shoes, guys. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if there was a lawyer in the room when they're drafting this whole thing up, but it seems to me like someone wasn't thinking. You're not going to be able to tell Caitlin Clark that State Farm can't pay her what they want to pay her. I mean, you can't tell or anything, right? Just doesn't make any sense to me, and I just don't think that it'll hold up in court. So again, whatever gets passed, then the courts will eventually mold this into what it is. Unfortunately, but that's going to take years.
We'll have you on when that happens, so we can try to decipher some of it again. Okay.
Sounds excellent, guys.
Thanks so much for giving us time, Brad.
You got it.
Appreciate it,
You
man.
got
Always.
it. Take care, guys. Have a great day.
Talk to you
Have
soon.
fun on the golf course. All right, we'll
Go
see you later.
Hawks. All right, bye-bye.
Brad Heinrich's joining us on the Rush Radio Show. I interpreted that completely differently. I thought when you read it, you're like, any deal over 600 has to be vetted or made disclosed. I'm like, okay, that's fair. That's transparency. I didn't know. And maybe it's because I just didn't that it had to be a clearinghouse to where Deloitte goes, okay, and $600, all that's a tax threshold, right? Because anything over $600, you have to claim or get 1099.
That's a good point.
Yes.
That's exactly what that
Ross
is.
and I know what 1099s are. We know what those 1099s are.
All right, let's talk about. He said something in there that I think we can make something out of. All right.
Okay.
It talked about the Tyler Barnes thing, which you kind of went back on again. They're planning. The Iowa football team is trying.
Every football team in the country is planning.
I would imagine every program in the country. So let's just core down. We're gonna take this two directions. Okay. From the Tyler Barnes' planning thing. Tyler Barnes goes out and tells these kids, "Hey, we are going to try to stay ahead of the curve here, right?" And by staying ahead of the curve, we got to prepare you for some stuff that's going to happen. This might go down, so you better get your ducks in a row, is what Tyler Barnes was saying. So the core down on it, I want to say, is if this goes the way that Brad just kind of indicated there, where now all of a sudden you got to call these kids back and go, hey, wait a minute, no, we need you. Kirk Ferentz is a guy that's reluctant to get ahead of the curve anyway. This will only make it worse. We tried to get ahead of the curve and it burned us. Right? But now let's look up through the telescope from the Tyler Barnes' planning. Now that means the athletic department is planning. That means the conference is planning. Everybody's doing the same thing that Tyler Barnes was doing, and that is what ifs. Worst case scenario. And when the door closes, we've all been in these rooms, the door closes, you go, all right, we got to run some scenarios here. What's worst case scenario in this negotiation? Because, and why I'm bringing this up, think about what that means from the athletic department's perspective, kind of what Brad alluded to there. Think about what that means from the conference's perspective. He said it. The Big Ten's getting ready. The Big Ten, they're preparing. They're planning. That if this ruling comes down and they say, we don't like the way that looks, so we've built this little raft over here. We're just going to hop into this raft and sail away from the NCAA. And I would imagine it's not, again, that's the conference is probably planning, making those plans. The athletic department is probably within their own ranks saying, okay, this is what this is going to look like.
I don't think they want to do that. I think they're preparing. Yes,
yes,
they're preparing for it.
Big changes.
All I hear, Ross, is a lot more lawsuits to come. That's what I hear. That's what I hear. Is that we think, and this is why I brought up the antitrust thing, because you need a little protection. And one of the big fallouts that people are complaining about is that the money is going to be distributed unequally. And not just with the money that's available for universities to pay student athletes, but another lawsuit that's going to be filed, they are anticipating, is of the $2.8 billion, that's billion, that athletes are lining up, saying it's disproportionately being distributed to more football players than to women field hockey players. Well, yes, because that's the way it should be. Sorry, those nobody made a name for themselves in field hockey or women's soccer or men's track and field. And if you did, you're a unicorn. You're the exception. You're not the rule. The people who really had name, image, and likeness were, and you could even narrow it down on a football team, were a select few, maybe 5 to 10. I mean, of real NIL value. Am I wrong there?
No, nobody would push back on you. On the best teams, you're going to get up to 10.
Yes.
And again, unicorn situations where you've got some real dynamic talent, and on the best 10 guys, this thing became pay to play so quickly.
It did.
Instantly. It wasn't even like an evolution. The minute the cat came out of the bag, it was pay to play.
It's an example that there's no perfect way to do it. And you've been a proponent for paying players for a long time. Is this messier than you thought it was going to be? Is it more complicated? Did lawyers and everything else make this more? Because you know what it is? Everybody wants a piece of the pie.
Yeah, lawyers and agents. Dude, Brad just nailed it. 10% or 20% to negotiate a deal?
Because I think when you were saying, hey, pay the players, you meant the players that really deserve to be paid.
What I meant was exactly the stuff that what I meant was JCD and Hobby should be able to have Jordan Bohannon come and sign some stuff. JCD and Hobby should be able to pay the Iowa State basketball team to come down and sign merchandise at his store, and then he gets to collect that merchandise and sell merchandise or get people in his – like, that's how that was going to work.
It's capitalism.
Should be able to do his
basic
basketball
trade.
camps. Yeah, these guys should be able to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness. George Niang should have been able to have a basketball camp while he was at Iowa State. Blah, blah, blah. And then I start to get on my soapbox and I become a broken record, and I like
your soapbox though, because and I don't know if it's a broken record as much as this is such a. I think this has become a bigger deal than what it needed to be. If the NCAA, hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah.
If you would have, I think the first real time we went really was it a punter or a kicker at like Florida International had a YouTube channel which he was monetizing, and they said you can't make money off your YouTube channel.
I've always kind of wondered what your tipping point was. I've always kind of wondered because you had this moment where all of a sudden one day you were like, you know what, Ross, I think you're right. I think this NCAA thing has gone. This amateurism thing might have gone too far.
That was it. When you had a kind of a, I'm not going to call him a lowlife. That sounds like a bad derogatory, but somebody who's not known
You were going to call him a low life.
Well,
Oh
I
my
was
God.
trying to think of the right word, but somebody who's not known, who's not trying to cheat the system. He has a simple YouTube channel, and he was monetizing his YouTube channel, and the NCAA said, you can't do that. And that was my tipping point where I'm like, really? We're talking a YouTube channel.
So I was way early adopter, but I'll tell you one that was super early on. Travis, I think maybe... maybe I wasn't working with you. This was either when I was working with Jan or when Chris and I were doing the show in the afternoon. Drake had this amazing story. This kid on their football team who had kind of come from not ideal circumstances. I don't remember what the situation was, but he was making ends meet by cutting his teammates' hair. He had become like the team barber on the Drake football team.
Great story.
We're going back 15 years, I think. If I'm in my brain, it's 10 to 15 years ago. It's a long time back. The football team, some of the guys in the football team who are a little more affluent, got together and bought him a barber's chair.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool, right? Not only we found out about it, and I was like, oh, this is a great story. We should share this on the radio. Not only did Drake say, you guys, please do not talk about this, because this is an NCAA violation. This is an improper benefit that he has received. And this can't be known. In fact, I think they even took the chair away from the kid.
God.
Because they were worried, like, if the NCAA were to if Big Brother finds out about this, man, we're in big trouble. This is non-scholarship football. The kid's cutting hair. What are we doing? And I remember we reached out to that kid. I followed him on Twitter for a long time. And the idea was like, hey, we're going to tell this story someday. Once it all, and it ended up, you know what I mean? Obviously, after a couple years, it was like, and the story just, things like what you're talking about started to happen. More and more egregious stuff of the NCAA stepping in, overstepping those bounds, enforcing this radical version of amateurism.
Hold on to that thought, because I want to keep this conversation going, because another thing happened yesterday after the hearing that I'm totally against, and I'd like to get your thoughts on it. It has to do with the House settlement, or not participating in the House settlement and still wanting to get paid, and you know, where does it stop? And when does it stop, and when can we start moving forward? It is the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how Bats and Bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig plantation rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Hi, I'm Josh Romick, manager at Willis Lexus. I want to take a moment to share with you the great deals that we've got going on starting now through the end of April. Receive $150 off a set of 4 tires or $75 off a set of 2 eligible tires. In addition to that, for limited time only, receive up to an $80 prepaid Visa or MasterCard. You can give us a call to schedule or visit us online at willislexus.com.
Do you have a pest problem? With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive at therushladio.com. Good to have you along on a Tuesday. It's the 8th of April. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. Also, you can follow us on the socials, X, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. You know, Ross, I was doing some housework over the weekend, and I realized as I was going through my garage, man, I could use a cleanup of the garage. I need to bring in Absolute Garage and Closets to say, look at this mess. Look at this mess. How can you help me get more organized?
Travis, 95% of the houses that I'm in that aren't vacant, the garage could use Absolute Garage and Closets. And for, again, not a lot of money, not a lot of investment, you can really improve the livability of your space in that garage. And it's so funny. Like this weekend, we're with my my aunt and uncle are in town from Wisconsin. They are academics. Both of them were teachers. My uncle's a genius. My dad is a very sportsy guy. You know what I mean? We sit out in the garage surrounded by NASCAR posters and Cubs memorabilia, and we watch sports in the garage. And my aunt and uncle come out, and we're having a fish fry, and they're sitting in Dad's garage with the, with finished floor. I've talked about getting one of those screen doors for Dad's garage. And they look around that space, and they're like, we should do this. We could, they're putting an addition on the back of their house, but they're like, man, when we're done with that addition, we should do this with our garage because this just makes this space like livable space.
Livable.
Yeah. Much more enjoyable.
So, yeah, it's I need to bring them in and just say, what can you do with a single-car garage? It's never had a car parked in it, but it's just an absolute mess.
And I've told people, Marty's not a salesman. He's not going to come in and go, well, here's, Travis, you could do this. He's an accountant. He's like Brad. He's going to sit there and say, all right, the best solution for you is this. I'm not going to sell you my highest product. the best solution for your problem is this.
So for more information on how you get your garage or your closet organized, make sure to reach out to Absolute Garage and Closets. They'll take care of you and make sure you're more organized. Want to thank Brad Heinrichs for coming on in hour number 1. If you missed any part of that interview, it will be on the replay, of course, on YouTube, or you can go to the podcast, or just hit that listen live link at therushradio.com and listen to the show. Because, we were talking about, we started the show talking about Florida and Houston last night. Florida won the national title 65-63. All those players are getting paid. It's paid for play. So everybody who was on the court last night was getting some NIL money, and some might be millionaires. Some are getting a couple $100,000. Good for them. That's their fair market value. Part of the House settlement of that $2.8 billion, Ross, is to go back in time. I think all the way back to 2016. I think is how far back they're going, to pay players that missed out on the opportunity to make money. So they're going to take that $2.8 billion. They're going to divide that up between student athletes across universities, and you're going to get a piece of the pie. Now, obviously, it won't be as much as if you were a player at the time. I mean, when you divide, it's a lot of money, but you were talking about a lot of athletes that are going to get money. People may not like this. First of all, you have to have a cap number. I mean, you just can't say, well, we're just going to pay everybody, because that could get, to $5 billion. And we think the NCAA makes a lot of money. It's going to take several years.
It's finite. There's a limit.
Yeah, there is a limit. It's going to take several years for these schools who have to pay this back to do this. So there has to be a limit, and you can't go back to like the 90s. I mean, because you could go back, hell, to the 40s if you wanted to. There's always going to – I mean, Bob Feller was always complaining that he wasn't making the money that pitchers –
Feller's a great example of like what, Jordan Bohannon was screaming about. And guys like, I don't know why, trying to think of a guy that was really impactful to the college game – but then maybe Chuck Long would be a great example of this. Like a guy that if he could have capitalized on his time at Iowa, he would have done really well for himself. He'd have been able to put himself in a different financial spot when he was 22, 23, 24 years old.
Now, a lot of people yesterday were asking, wasn't Jordan Bohannon one of the leaders of this? And if you're an Iowa fan or from Iowa, you may think so. I mean, it was really Ed O'Bannon back in the mid 2015 or so that really Ed O'Bannon, a former UCLA player, really brought this to the forefront and filed that first lawsuit. Now,
with
Bohannon,
EA Sports.
With EA Sports, because they were you're using the guy's name, selling a lot of basketball video games and making a boatload of money. But you and I have talked about this a little bit before, but I want to bring it back in because Chris Jenkins yesterday, a former Villanova player, who was on the Villanova national championship teams, filed a lawsuit against the NCAA for lost NIL possibilities because he chose not to be part of the House lawsuit. So what we have here are players who chose not to be part of the House lawsuit coming back and filing more litigation. Ross, I don't like this because this could continue forever, right?
Exactly. I mean, you were talking about how many athletes are going to be splitting that $2 billion, which is going to knock that number down significantly.
I mean, look at it like a class action lawsuit, right? When you say, hey, if you were, close to Roundup, you're entitled to a pay. And then you get a check for like 4 cents, and you're like, well, that's all I got. I get the dissatisfaction of it, but I do believe when this judgment comes down, I don't know if you can do it or not, but a judge needs to say, no more lawsuits. If you weren't part of this, that's your own problem.
It's got to be a statute of limitations. And there has to be. I'm sure there is. Maybe that's why the 2016 thing is being proposed, is because there isn't. Or maybe they're trying to change that. But you're right, Travis. There has to be a cap. And as much of an advocate as I am for them being paid and have been an advocate for that for a long time, I also am an advocate of you agreed to it. Jordan Bohannon did the right thing. He wanted to play college basketball. He wanted to play college basketball for the University of Iowa. He got that opportunity. He took that opportunity. And then while there, he said, hey, wait a minute. This should change. The next guys that come through should probably get something here. Now, I don't know if Jordan's a part of that, so I shouldn't speak for him on this. But that, to me, was the right way to go about it. Become a part of the system and then try to change it from within. Or, but this thing of like, well, 10 years ago, I made a commitment that I was going to play 4 years of X at Y, and my compensation was going to be a free education and room and board and physical training and help with academics,
tutoring,
blah, blah,
everything,
blah 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 blah. That was the deal I made.
Yeah, I mean, how many things in life, even in our own personal life, the rules are different than they were 20 years ago. The rules change, and unfortunately, you weren't. I mean, this would be like every coach who got in trouble going back and saying, well, hey, this is legal now. So every time I got in trouble, or the probations that the schools got, well, we need to be reimbursed for the scholarships we didn't get to do. And all. I mean, the rules change. The rules are different today than they were 15 years ago.
It is. It's hard to figure out where to draw the line. Because but you have to draw a line, and you have to say you don't get anything. It ended right here, and I think anything that's retroactive like that should probably be thrown out. Say no, you agreed to that. The Ed O'Bannons, again, I love what Ed O'Bannon did. I hate the people. I don't hate. I always am arguing with people who try. Chris used to do it in a fun way. Chris was always like, "Yeah, we should blame Ed O'Bannon for this." Because he is the one that opened up this can of worms.
Yeah.
Right? But it needed to be opened.
At least discussed.
He was the one that said, hey, you guys are making money off of... They made a video game. I'm one of the stars of the video game. It straight up uses all of my name, image, and likeness. And people... for some reason, when you just brought up Ed O'Bannon... Again, I bring this name up a lot. It's going to piss off a lot of people, and I know I don't care. He's kind of like the Elon Musk in that he was the one that said, hey, there's some problems here. And people went, shut up. You're going to ruin this thing.
It was like the Wizard of Oz. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain.
Will you just shut up and take your medicine? And people tried to use that argument that I just did. People said, you signed up for this, Ed. You were the one, you got a free education out of this. And the argument was, I didn't sign up for that. I didn't sign up for 20 years of a company making money off of me because they signed a deal with the conference.
Well, and that's something. He obviously went after the NCAA and UCLA to a bit, but the tipping point was, hold on, it's not UCLA making money off me. I know they are. I know the NCAA is making. It is a third-party entity.
Yeah.
Who is making money off me, and I don't get any part of that. Yep. That's wrong. Now, this is a massive can of worms, but again, that's why I even think the $2.8 billion is a pretty good consolation prize because, like everything, rules change.
To say it's a pretty good consolation prize. It's
you
like the
should
bullseye at the carnival there, dude.
You're lucky you're getting anything. Because a judge could have said, you know what, you can change the rules now.
Yes, going forward.
Going forward, you all can go get paid. It's pay for play.
And Travis, I think, and I would want to use discretion here because I think that each case has its own individual merit, and they're like the kid we've talked about a few times. We've mentioned him in the last few weeks in this conversation. I think his name is Billy Preston.
Yeah, from Kansas.
Kansas, it is him. That's a kid with a legitimate lawsuit. One of the top recruits in the country, going to go to Kansas, looking at an NBA career, is literally in the locker room wearing the uniform before his first game. And the coach walks in and says, hey, Billy, they need to talk to you. Your mom drove away in a car that wasn't hers or something. Your mom got a car. Your basketball career is essentially over. You've been blackballed. That's a kid with a legitimate lawsuit to go, hey, NCAA, you screwed me. You screwed me. your guys did this to me, and then you pulled the rug out from underneath me, and my career earnings were affected because of this. That's a guy with a retroactive lawsuit. But there's only a few guys that fall into that sort of category.
You know what I'm surprised at? I mean, we're using money here, but under the same thing of paying players, why doesn't Louisville, why doesn't Michigan go back and say, hey, why can't we put our banners back up that say we won a national title?
We want to sell gear that says, a blank time national champion, and we can't do that right now. We want to add those. That's a great point. And I think, Travis, I would hope that a judge would throw that out as well. But honestly, that's more legitimate than the lawsuits. In my mind, that's a more legitimate case than some of these players going back. Again, with that discretion of there are exceptions to that rule. I don't think Drew Watt fits into this. I know some Hawk fans think, the NCAA screwed that young man. I'm not denying that at all. But I don't think that falls into lawsuit, because the argument there is he still could have gone on if he would have recovered from the injuries quickly enough. He could have gone on and tried out for the NFL, and that he did try that. It didn't quite work out for him. The Preston kid was blackballed.
Yeah, 100%. Corey asked this, and I don't have an answer for you, but I think it's a good question. And I'll go ahead and put it up. I don't know if the whole thing will come up or not. But he says, when the amateurism goes away, by the way, amateurism is gone. Stop calling these guys amateur
But no,
athletes.
I see what he's.
Yes.
When we finally dissolve this illusion, right?
Does the university have to 1099 all benefits, free education, training table, clothing? I can't wait to see what happens there. I would guess not, unless
that's.
Because I don't think like, even if you're a professional athlete, you're not going to get 1099 on your hotel rooms. You're not going to get 1099 on a lot of that
there's
stuff.
a lot of benefits that come with it.
Yes.
Fridges full of Powerade type of thing.
Well, yeah, because I mean, an NBA player doesn't have to pay a 1099 on a free private flight. There is something about being part of an organization.
That's
and
why
when you're part of a team.
So again, discretion. Let's break that down. The clothing, no, because like even Travis, when Authentic Brands would send us stuff, this was not part of. That was just kind of like added value, I guess. Something like that.
It was trade. They would say, "Hey, we'll give your talent." We use the word talent loosely. Some gear in exchange for advertising on the radio. And so we just were like, okay.
But Corey, I think the education, that is something that is probably on the negotiating table of. Man, there's so much.
No, because I still think that's part of, because you can make the argument that was part of anything extra that you're getting paid is extra benefits. So the benefit of going to college is you get a scholarship. This has always been the case. This has been provided. The extra benefits are the cash that you're getting.
Okay.
And the NIL deals that you're getting. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I've never been 1099 on the value of an object. Yeah, or even an intangible object like an education. That intangible? Think so? Is an education intangible?
Ooh.
This is why I didn't go to college, because think of how boring life would be if you knew these answers.
Should
you know how much more fun life is when you're stupid?
You're not stupid.
If you're getting NIL payments, should the scholarship from the school go away and be taken out of the NIL? No.
By the way, AI says, while a college education's benefits can be both tangible and intangible, its tangible outcomes, such as increased earning potential and better job prospects, are often cited as evidence of its value.
I see. Okay.
So the tangible benefits of an education in college are increased earning potential, better job prospects, career advancement, access to opportunities, and improved socioeconomic status and return on investment. Intangible benefits are personal growth, lifelong learning, cultural understanding, and networking opportunities.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, Ross, it can be both. It can be both. So, yeah, just some great. But do you think Kyle Jenkins or Chris Jenkins? Do you support him suing the NCAA on his own? Because to me, if I'm that judge or any judge, I'm saying you had an opportunity to be part of something that was historic, that was going to be agreed upon, and the money in the pot is gone. There was $2.8 billion there. You had a chance to get a piece of that. You get no more.
I don't like the idea of each of these guys being able to individually break out and do this, because then it's talk about can of worms. It's never ending. I mean,
yes,
thousands upon thousands of athletes could now do that. So I guess my answer is no.
Yeah, that's why there has to be a cap. You just can't go.
You got to draw a line in the sand somewhere, and this is, I guess, the beginning of that line. Gonna get ugly, dude, and that's hopefully this resolution from this judge. And again, Travis, let's talk about this time frame. If she's telling everybody she wants answers within a week, that means she's at least going to take another week to kind of decipher it all and come to a conclusion. We're 2 to 3 weeks away from, like Brad said. Brad said 1 to 3, but she's not going to. I don't anticipate a decision right away next week. So we're going to be into May, and we're going to learn all of the changes. And I'm telling you, if he was talking to us, he pulled the curtain back a little bit to say, "Hey, Tyler Barnes was making these plans." That means they're all making plans. So 3 weeks from now, we're into May. Let's say it's May 1. The judge comes out and gives a ruling that the Big Ten doesn't like, or the SEC doesn't like, or the Big Ten and the SEC don't like. Give it a couple of days, and we might, you can smell the weird coming.
See, and Brad kind of changed my view on what he said, because I was all when I heard her say, "Hey, grandfather in your current rosters, wean that," because they went from basically unlimited rosters last year to 105. And when she said, "Hey, just grandfather it for the current athletes that are there," and my first thought was, well, we did this for COVID, right? We granted that COVID year, so how hard is it to just wean this off, have another 4 years or whatever? But then when he brought up, hey, these coaches were told a year ago this is the way it's going down. They've planned for it. They've already sent kids on their way saying, hey, you're not going to be part of the 105. Now you're upside down. Now you're scrambling, looking for players. And you just don't take anybody off the street you got to have a little bit of talent.
Got to be handy with the steel.
Yeah.
Earn your keep.
Because remember, Barry Alvarez, during COVID, when he was still the athletic director at Wisconsin, told all those student athletes, sorry, we're not holding the spot for you. It costs money, and these coaches have already moved on to recruiting to do it in a different way. We appreciate your service. Go somewhere else. So Brad kind of changed my mind there, realizing the unintended consequences. It's not as easy as what one would think.
That's why they're called unintended. You can't predict them. There are things that are going to come up from this every turn. I'm glad you asked about that roster limits thing, because that wasn't something. The salary cap issue, I loved his answer on the salary cap. So again, if you missed any of this, about an hour ago we had Brad on. We're still deciphering some of the stuff that he dropped on us.
Because he's smart.
Well, I love the stuff he said about salary caps, because that's the same thing I've thought about it. It's like, wait, this whole time that people have brought up salary caps, you've seen it in my head, Travis. You've seen people go, hey, these salary caps are a good idea, right? I go, I don't know. I don't think so. Well, I don't think that anybody should be telling anybody what to do. And that was part of what that was how I deciphered that that Supreme Court opinion was, you guys are all individual entities. You can't collude with one another. You're competing with each other. Alabama and Iowa, you guys are competing for the same athletes and the same viewers and the same sponsors. You're competing. So you cannot collude with each other.
The NFL does. They have a salary cap.
And I think you could.
Major League Baseball doesn't have a salary cap, but they have a threshold to where if you spend profit sharing. But there's also the tax. If you go over the threshold, you got to pay not only what you paid, but we're going to tax you a certain amount. NBA, I believe, have a salary cap. So I know the word collusion, but you're also running a business, and the NFL is saying in order to keep things competitive, everybody's got to kind of work in this. There's a reason in NASCAR. I mean, hell, all the cars are the same, right?
Yeah,
and,
right.
And they do that because they want it to be competitive, because you can have some real genius minds out there to work with the motor and test everything.
And this is the exact mental evolution that I think is happening, Travis, because, yeah, you can absolutely control that when it's 30 entities. When it's 35, when it's 50 entities. When it's 360, you can't. And that's why this $20 million threshold, like we've talked about over and over, cool, $20 million. Raise your hand if you can make the $20 million threshold. And you see 10% of the schools raise their hand, right? Go, okay. All right, so all the cap is really doing is preventing the biggest schools from just blowing out the budget and big banking everybody. But like Brad says, and I agree, the free market would have decided that anyway. They let them throw around their money. Let them. Other teams have money. Other teams are going to fill their rosters. Other teams are going to bring talented kids in, and they're going to coach them up, and they're going to beat you, and then you're going to stop spending the bajillions of dollars. And that's exactly what's happened with Texas A&M. That's exactly what's going to happen with Alabama. It's not the rich getting richer. They're spending. They aren't winning. Now, a lot of people look at this basketball thing and go, well, you look at what happened with basketball. It was the 4 number 1 seeds. That's all NIL. NIL has got – no, let's not overreact to that.
It's too small of a sample right now.
And by the way, that's more indicative of how they've blocked out the mid-majors. They let every mid-major have one shot, and then when they don't go, they go, look, big boy basketball.
Hey, don't forget the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive wants to send you to Iowa City to see the Indiana Fever take on the Brazilian national team and Caitlin Clark's homecoming to Carver Hawkeye Arena. You can register for your chance to win a pair of tickets, really good tickets, by going to therushradio.com. When you're there, see the promotions tab, click on the promotions tab, go fill out the form, and you will be registered to win a chance to take a Logo 3. We're going to draw 5 names, and we're going to have a little shooting contest. But if you want to go see Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, at Carver Hawkeye Arena, go to therushradio.com, hit the promotions tab, and fill out the form. That'll be the first step. Registration open through April 18th. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby. You got me falling hard for you. It's you. I felt this way before. You know it's true. It's you. You got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how bats and bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
We here at Willis Automotive pride ourselves on providing the utmost in hospitality, treating everyone who walks through our doors like a guest in our home. And during our Friends and Family Sales event, we extend that philosophy to our prices. From our Willis Automotive campus in Clive to each location across the metro. We have over 575 pre-owned vehicles for sale at our special pricing, including 55 vehicles priced less than $18,000. Visit our website at willisauto.com or stop into our many locations across the metro and experience the Willis difference today.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig, Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show. Happy Tuesday. It's supposed to be nice this week, isn't it, Ross? It's supposed to be nice this week?
Yeah, let me pull up the extended forecast here on my weather app.
Yeah.
62
today?
Today, I'm seeing a high of 54 in Des Moines. Tomorrow, 65. Yeah, highs in the 60s. Lows in the 40s. Yeah, we actually get a spring here, baby.
Have you golfed yet?
I have not. No, I talked to my buddy Scott the other day, and he's on the course, and I'm like, all right, hit him straight, man. He's like, dude, I'm not hitting him straight at all. And I said, dude, don't give yourself a hard time. It's your first round of the year. And he goes, it's my fifth. I'm like, well, I was trying.
Somebody fat joked me yesterday, like, hey, can you hit the ball like 50 yards farther now that you've lost all the weight? I'm like, really? Really? Are you fat shaming me?
Well, how would losing weight help you hit the ball farther?
I don't know. I hope it helps me hit it straighter, but it sure as hell not going to help me hit it farther. I guarantee that. Plus, I'm getting older.
Yeah, I don't know what the logic is on that.
Dude, here's what I don't get. I went to a golf store the other day. I need a putter. I don't have a putter right now. And I need a putter.
Yeah, you wonder why they're $280?
Dude, that would have been a deal. The golf store I was in, the cheapest putter I could find was like $399. It's a putter.
Dude, golf can get bent.
It really can.
I love golf. I love golfing with my friends. It is a blast. The cost of getting into golf is insane.
I mean, it's like hockey-like, right? I mean,
it's like, a lot like it because, and if you're lucky, you have friends that have been golfing a long time. They've got old equipment. They'll let you basically they'll give you gear or sell it to you for cheap or stuff like that.
So I right away went to Amazon and said, I just need a knockoff fat handle putter, right? And I found them for like $94, and I've still thought for a putter, but I go, it's better than like $3.99. And just because it had like Odyssey on it or Ping or Callaway, you're like, it's a putter. I get why I mean, when a putter costs the same amount of money as a driver, I'm like, come on now.
What's the great big handle that they put on it now? It's called, there's a name for them. I can't think of it. Have you seen the putter handles?
Because they're real thick, got a soft grip. I want a fat handle putter, but it's like you're paying. And then if you want the fat grip, it's $20 more. You know, we can put a regular grip on there, but for $20 more, we can put the fat grip on there for you. On top of the $3.99,
it's becoming like this strange fascination for me of how a lot of us, man, we kind of like obsess over this thing that what's the end game? 99% of us know we have absolutely no shot of ever actually doing anything with a golf game. So is it just self-improvement? Is it a chance to, I mean, for me, it literally is a chance to get out with my buddies and have fun in the sun. You know, I don't really look at it as competing. I guess I'm trying to get a little bit better because it's more fun to be better, but
you got cops outside your house?
I always have cops outside my house.
God, and you live in a gated community.
They're
How does
coming
that
trying
happen?
to snatch my crops. These pigs want to blow my house down.
Wow. Hey, did the NHL miss an opportunity with Alex Ovechkin? And what I mean by that is you had and we didn't even talk about it yesterday. I had it on the rundown yesterday. We didn't talk about it. He beat Wayne Gretzky's record. I remember when Gretzky beat Gordie Howe. That was a big deal. It was like the countdown of Sosa and McGuire. I mean, they were following that left and right. And I know ESPN was following it, but from a national scale, why wasn't this bigger? And I'm just trying to, or maybe I'm mistaken here.
No, you're not at all. You're not at all. I mean, you know, Travis, as this countdown loomed and was loomed is probably the wrong word. As this countdown was happening, every morning when I would fire up Fark or ESPN, one of them would have like a little countdown. Hey, here's the latest. Fark was making fun of it. They literally were like, nobody's watching this thing. One of the greats is getting ready to fall. The greatest of all time will no longer be the greatest of all time, and nobody seems to care about it. Why is that? Is it because, and maybe there's some nationalism to that? Sean wrote in and said he's Russian. That's right. It's not nearly the connection that we had with Wayne Gretzky,
who was Canadian, by the way, but he resonated with me. And I think part of Gretzky's mystique, sure, it was the goals, but you look at the total points, the assist and goals that he had. That I'm not saying that number may never be broken, but that's like why he's considered the greatest of all time. It wasn't just the goals. You put the points up there, and you're like, oh, Gretzky was so dominant. I wonder if they look at the all-time goals differently than the all-time points, and if we would view the all-time points differently than all-time goals. But I was just thinking about it. Like, we had essentially, when Mark McGuire broke Roger Maris's record at a hockey level, and maybe it's just hockey in general, that people just don't care about hockey like they do baseball or football. That's got to play a bit of part of it.
See, Travis, that's another big part of this is that hockey's prominence has kind of fallen off a little bit. I think that there's an element of it that, you know, we kind of bring up that phenomena of the Heisman Trophy, the Kentucky Derby, the opening ceremony for the Olympics, these things that used to be huge, monumental, year-defining events.
Daytona 500, Indy 500.
They happen in the background. Opening day. I think somehow
the Masters is this week. Is the Masters getting into that?
You know, we saw somebody when we first fired up the show today. I saw one of our listeners post and say, "Hey, it's Masters week," you know, and we can get somebody on, maybe preview that. That'd be fun. But yeah, kind of sneak. I think, Travis, we're just so inundated with stuff, man. So part of it is that hockey has fallen off. This guy's not an American. We don't really, and Wayne Gretzky was Canadian, but he's not. We have no real connection with Ovechkin. Fascinating dude, amazing athlete, obviously one of the greatest of all time, arguably the greatest scorer of all time now, right?
Yes.
Did you see that? Have you seen, there was a video floating around yesterday, like an old video of him. The very first time he ever played golf, he got a hole-in-one.
Are you serious?
Swear to God, it was videotaped. It was like at an event, and dude, it's hilarious. I'll see if I can find the video and send it to you. It's hilarious because he gets the hole in one, and everybody's freaking out, and so he goes and he picks up the ball. Well, at the event, obviously, other guys are coming up on the greens around him, and they're like, Alex, did you? And he's like, yes, I hit the ball from up there. I made it in here from up there one time. One shot in there from here.
Drives every golfer nuts because the guy's never played golf before, and he hits a hole-in-one.
Hole-in-one. First time out.
Damn. I didn't know that. How do you get that lucky?
Dude,
that just shows you that a hole-in-one is nothing but luck.
I mean, it's more than luck. I thought you were going to say that just goes to show that athletic ability transcends.
Okay, that could be part of it. Man.
That's what's frustrating me because I'm not athletic, and I've been playing golf for a long time. And man, breaking 90, that's a good round for me. That's a good round. My buddy Tyrell picked up golf we're 46. He picked up golf last summer, and the dude's already better than me.
Just because he has natural ability?
Just because he's an athlete.
Well,
Scott literally has a video of him one of the first times he goes to hit the ball the wrong way on the tee box. Scott's like, hey, Tyrell, that way. Oh. And now the guy's better than me. That's like a year. That video's 2 years old. God,
going back to what started this conversation, that was my search for a putter, right? I promise you, from the average golfer, I'm not talking a pro golfer, I'm talking an average golfer. If I gave you a pair of clubs or a set of clubs from Play It Again Sports, and you went and play Waveland today and shot, a 95, I'll give you a pair of pings tomorrow, and you're going to shoot a 95.
I'm probably shooting 107.
Yes. Your score is not going to change that
I've tried to play the same course in back-to-back days, and it didn't go well. Yeah, yes. Is there a slight improvement? I mean, I got new clubs. Last summer, I got new clubs. Did it improve my game? Slightly, sure. I went from shooting.
Or do you want to tell yourself?
Went from shooting 97 to 95.
Was it worth the $500, $600, $700 investment?
Well, yes, for a couple reasons, but not the score.
Yeah, to me, when I got new clubs, I think last year, I got old man clubs. I got hybrids all the way through.
Love it.
Because I'm old.
You're just leaning into it.
I'm embracing it, right? You embrace it. But I did it, probably more for a status thing. And the fact that, I was playing with Ram clubs from Walmart, and more people made fun of me for Ram clubs, which were real irons, as opposed to even an all-hybrid set. They're like, at least that has a name to it. I think there's...
Ram, it is... Listen, I don't want to besmirch the fine name of the Ram golf folks, okay? But it does scream something from the golf cart.
It screams cheap. It screams you should be golfing in jeans and a pearl snap shirt, right? We've all seen the guy in jeans and a pearl snap on a golf course.
That's Ram golf bag screams, that top flight is mine. That pinnacle ball you found belongs to me.
That top flight X out is mine.
That X out is the ball I'm playing. When are you guys playing a pink pinnacle? Oh, it's the ram bag. Here you go.
You used to say, Ross is a ball hawk on the golf course. So Ross drives you nuts when you go golfing with him because you're like, where's Ross? And he's out in the woods looking for balls. You're like, can we play here? And then he'll like, top flight. He'll just throw it out. He'll like, if it's not a Pro V1, he's
Trav
just
here.
tossing it
Pinnacle
out.
for Trav. Top flight for Trav. Can't pronounce for Trav. Save these for Eli.
If you ever go golfing with Ross, just know that you will spend most of your day going, where's Ross?
But
Where's Ross?
Here's the thing. And again, it's all about attitude and perspective. That way, when I hit a bad shot, my thought as I'm seeing the ball sail into the woods is, here we go.
I lost one coming back with 10.
You know what? Hey, Ross, how did you do on that last hole? +7. You were 7 over par? No, I found 7 balls. Look.
Ross hasn't had to go to the golf store to get golf balls in like several years because he's...
But they get me. Costco gets me. Costco gets me, dude.
With
They
the
throw those
Kirkland?
Kirklands. They throw those Kirklands up for $20 for, 48 balls or whatever it is.
And you fall into they're just a top flight with a Kirkland name on it.
Exactly what I do.
Not a top flight. They're a Titleist. They're a Pro V1 with the Kirkland name on it.
It was the same engineer. They hired the engineer from Titleist. I'll Google it.
I mean, Pro V1s that's being put on the chat are $4 a ball. $4 a ball.
That's why I don't mind when my friends take a few minutes to look for them.
I do because I'm in a hurry out there.
Yeah, but that's why, again, you're playing the pinnacle.
There's some truth to that. And you're playing somebody else's Pro V1. You're like, it's not mine.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes they have initials on it. Sometimes it's names. Sometimes guys have funny little sayings on it. Like, if found, please return to your mom's house. That's one of my favorites. That's a good one.
What if you find a club on the course? Do you keep it or do you take it back?
Oh, no. You take that back. Yeah, I think the first thing you do is you take it to the guys in front of you.
What if I said
Travis, you did not.
Well, not on a normal basis, but I found a club that felt really good in my hand. And I'm like, well, they left it. And they never backtrack. Now, I pick it up knowing that they may come ask for it. I'll be, I picked this up for you. But I got to the end of the 18, I'm like, well, if they haven't come looking for it, they're probably not going to go to the lost and found. So I might as well keep it. You're looking at me with pure disgust.
Darn it.
I needed a lob wedge that... I needed a lob wedge, and it just had that good feel to it.
Okay.
And I waited a certain amount of hours.
You're justifying it.
What's the difference between that and the course keeping it if they never come claiming it? I'm asking, what's the difference? Course is just going to keep it.
If they never come claim it. Can I break some of your illusion here?
Sure.
I mean, the guy obviously liked the club because he had it out of his bag and was using it.
Or he didn't like it and just left it. And said, I'm
Because
done with this club.
Because that's what you do. Because that's what happens on a golf course.
I'm done with this club. I've had it. I'm not hitting it with the crap. I'm leaving it right here for the next guy. Is that not the way it goes? I thought that's the way it went.
I love it. That'd be a fun way to play golf. Remember how in old-timey baseball there was just like 8 gloves or 7 gloves?
Yeah.
And the fielders would just, center fielder would leave his glove at the end of the inning. Next center fielder would come out, and if you were left-handed, well, tough titty, man. Put that glove on your hand. Let's go. What if golf was like that? Like when you got up to a par 3 if there were just an array of clubs there on the tee box, and it was like, all right, you got to pick. You don't have to bring your own clubs.
I would actually like that. That would be a fun golf tournament. Like, you just have a full set there. You have to leave
and then golf clubs are laid out around the course. So, like, inside 100 yards, there's just pitching wedges.
Yeah. I bet that would actually speed the game up. Your club is just laying there.
And then Travis, how many of those clubs? Travis would walk away with a whole new set.
No, not if the rules were understood that you leave the club where you go. Matter of fact, I think clubs, golf courses should just leave signs up, say, hey, if you lose a club on the golf course, you've lost it. You can go back and say, did you find it?
I kind of want to move on because it's breaking my heart that you did this.
I did it once. At least I told. It's not that I'm searching for clubs on the course. It was just like.
It felt right. I mean, like you said, it felt good in your hand.
Yeah,
it was
felt
like
right.
God
It
was
felt
telling
right
you to
at the
take
time.
the club.
Felt right at the time. You need to go to Principal Park on June 1st, by the way.
Okay.
Because after the Iowa Cubs game, Cooper DeJean is going to have a celebrity softball game.
Oh, I saw my buddy Joe Knapp post that he's going to be a part of this thing.
Yes.
That's at Principal Park on
It's
June
gonna be
1st?
On June 1st, they're going to
Okay.
play an Iowa Cubs game, I think, in the afternoon. Then right afterwards, they're going to have a celebrity softball game led by Captain Cooper DeJean, and Riley Moss is going to be the other captain. And then the proceeds will go to the Stead Children's Hospital in Iowa City.
Very cool. That is super cool. I could probably reach out to my buddy Joe. I saw him post yesterday that he was going to play in the Cooper DeJean celebrity softball game. We could reach out to him and see, get somebody on it. I mean, Joe would come on and chat with us about being a part of this.
I thought that was pretty cool. And I think what I'm more anxious to see is we know that Cooper DeJean is a really good athlete. I just want to see, we know he can play hoop. We know that he can play football.
What are you about to ask? You wonder if he can hit a softball?
Is he going to yard one? Is he
Yes.
going to yard? Yes.
Yes. He might try to put one in the river.
Which is what people want to see, right? He's going to get up to play. And it's not like some makeshift softball fence. They're like, we want to see Cooper DeJean hit one over the Principal Park fence. I forgot who I got into an argument about this. That, somebody couldn't hit a softball out of Principal Park. I'm like, oh, yes, they can.
Oh, man. See, I used to be dumb enough to think that guys couldn't hit softballs as far. Dude, those guys can launch.
They can.
A slow pitch softball.
Very, very much so. Now, if you're playing with, a 12-inch ball?
Yeah.
That's a little different.
They have man, what's it called? I think it's called 18-inch, Travis. It's a softball about this big around.
Yeah.
And get perspective.
Hey, you brought up JC and Hobby earlier.
Yeah.
And they said if you look behind your noggin right now, you have a signed Iowa State basketball. We know that was signed by Iowa State basketball players. Guy in California who defected to Mexico, his name is Anthony Tremay, was found guilty yesterday, Ross, of basically selling fake memorabilia, ranging in price from $250,000 up to $550,000. He was putting fake names on uniforms, jerseys, guitars, and then printed up a fake certificate of authenticity, had Prince's, and just defrauded all these people. Memorabilia scares me when somebody says, it's authentically signed.
Yeah.
Especially when you go to these charity auctions. You're like, hey, we got a Cooper DeJean signed jersey. How do we really know?
Yeah.
How do you really?
Dude,
I know you can send it
the
off.
Tommy Boy line. Well, it's got a guarantee on it. Well, what if I just gave you a guaranteed piece of shit? I've always worried about that. Well, how do you know that it's a real autograph? Well, it's got a certificate of authenticity.
Okay, I can. You know how you can print those one up on the internet?
Yeah,
pretty simple.
But again, there are ways, and the guys that are really into this business, Travis, this is how they catch these guys that are frauds, because there are ways to legitimize these things. I mean, this is why going to a place like JCD and Hobby is really important. If you're going to get into that collecting world, rather than just buying something on like Facebook or something like that, you want to go to a person that's got an established reputation, because they will be sure that they're not getting their stuff that's from things. I'm with you, Travis. This has always been my hesitation on buying memorabilia. Man, I've got some really cool stuff. Sign ball with Stan Musial and Bob Feller. I have a Wade Boggs baseball bat. Those are things that my friends have had signed. And you know what I mean? I know, hey, this was in the hands of Pete Rose and Stan Musial and Bob Feller and Wade Boggs. That's really cool.
We don't have much time, but I do want to throw this out there. In 2028, the Olympics are coming to Los Angeles. Flag football is going to be a part of the Olympics. We got about a minute on this. But the NFL wants players to play in the Olympics in flag football. NFL owners are pushing back saying, we're not so sure of what we want players playing flag football because of the possibility of injury. If you want flag football to be successful in the Olympics, you need big names in the Olympics. For Team
Flag
USA.
Breaking news. Hot take. Flag football will not be successful in the Olympics. Doesn't matter if it's Patrick Mahomes thrown to Tyreek Hill.
You don't think so?
Dude, watching those guys, watching Tyreek Hill blow by some dude from Japan, like the Russian flag football team, there would be a dream team element to it, I guess, but I don't. First of all, you nailed it. The NFL is never allowing it.
No, the owners don't. The NFL wants it. The owners don't.
Yeah, okay.
But this is my nationalism coming out. I want Team USA to just go dominate. And if they don't have NFL players, I'm going to be like, oh. And you lose?
Dude, I don't think it will matter. I really don't.
Yeah, because you can go get USFL players and all sorts of stuff like that.
Well, I'm just saying, Ed, I don't think flag football in the Olympics is not going to be great. And by the way, my buddy who knows the most about slow pitch softball, if anybody, just said Cooper DeJean will not go yard at Principal Park.
Wow. That's a
So
challenge.
Reason to get down June 1st.
The challenge has been issued. Hey, if you want to win Caitlin Clark tickets to go see Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever at the Carver Hawkeye Arena, go to therushradio.com, hit the promotions tab, fill out that form. We're going to draw 5 lucky winners to shoot a Logo 3, and your chance to get really good seats to see Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever coming up on, I believe, May 5th. Fast 2 hours today. Oh, in fact, even the music ran out. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. for the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how Bats and Bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Spring is here, and there's never been a better time to get your Infinity in for your regular maintenance. Right now, Willis Infinity is offering $25 off maintenance services, such as fluid flushes, differential services, fuel system services. We're also offering $50 off per axle on brakes, and we have our $400 spring end service special. It includes an oil change and more. Visit with your advisor for the full details.
give us a call or head online to willisinfinity.com.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.